Hello, my name is Duncan Alderdice, and the reason I'm making these videos is to document the journey I take as I become who I am. Today, I closed a $10,000 deal. I closed that $10,000 deal, the deal that I had been working on since November of last year, where I cold called, got him on the cold call, hosted a demo, and then followed up in the new year, followed up later, brought something back up. Finally, it actually came to a close. And it came to a close, and they're excited to move forward, and I'm very happy because I know they're going to have a lot of success with it. 19 dials on the day, 0 book demos, 3 demos held, almost 2 deals closed. There was one at the very end of the day that could have, or like it's a yes, but then there was just a, they had to move some money around, and it wasn't an actual price objection. It like whatever. Follow-up scheduled for Friday. I don't want to spend too much time on that one. But so I think the weird thing that I had with the deal, the $10,000 deal that closed, was the fact that so at one point, like, we're having the conversation, like it's me and the guy talking, like I'm not nervous that they're not going to move forward. They wouldn't have booked the time with me here. But what he asked me, he said he was going like, well, like, I want to know your opinion. Like, what do you think we should do? Like, do people normally start off on the lower 50 and 100 tiers and then work up their way to up to 200? Or what do you think? And my initial thought internally was, why are you asking me this question? Like, of course I'm just going to tell you, go with the more expensive one. Like, is that like, who would say don't go with the most expensive one? But then I ruminated. I did say end up going with the more expensive one, like the one that came with more, because I think that it actually is the best option for them because they do have the infrastructure. It's not just one person. There are people who are single advisors on the 50 and the 100 tier level, so that like if you have and your team's going to be growing, see what we can do with the 200. Like I can defend that and not just think that I'm I'm just trying to line my pockets. But I was trying to understand what would lead him to ask that question. The thought I had was he was he was asking me permission to make the decision he had already made for himself, and not asking permission like I was gatekeeping and he needed my approval of it, but more this is what I'm thinking, but I want to know what, like a person that I'm speaking to, what do you think? And I want you to tell me that the thing I'm thinking is the thing you're thinking without me telling you the thing that I'm thinking explicitly. So that if you do tell me the thing that I'm thinking is the same thing you're thinking, then I will think the thing that I'm thinking right now is the right thing to think and have confidence within that decision. But which then made me think about going like, okay, so like the role of the salesperson, like I am a decision-making facilitator. I'm empowering them in the decision they want to make. Like I'm helping them, and whether that just takes the form of speaking confidently and actually having like an opinion on it, which lines up with their goals and actually is in the best interest of them, their future, then sometimes they will be asking me ridiculous questions that I think are ridiculous, but they're not. It just is I'm starting to understand the role I'm actually playing. I brought this up with my sales manager in our one-on-one today, and he said that I think the reason why he asked you was because he trusted you, because you had built rapport with them over the course of the last 5 months and like seemed someone like reliable. And then like I'm thinking going, okay, I guess that's true. And if I'm being 100% honest, I did not say go with the 200. I mean, like the 200, it's more, so like it's great, and I feel good about being able to close that level of package. But it wasn't. If I was in his position, I would, if anything, get more than 200. Just because, like, I've seen like what Planswell has to offer, and going like, no, this aligns up exactly with your goals. The 200 level, even if you're a single advisor, I could make the argument going like, how many people do you need to actually onboard in order to get your money back? Okay, cool. What if you just target the people that had the most amount of money of that 200? You get the larger sample size, and then can still make that money back. Because yes, it's more expensive on a month-to-month basis, but so long as you're getting that return eventually, then it's not a cost, it's an investment. Like I can say that with conviction and not believe that I'm just saying it to make them like because it's the most expensive one, but I actually think it is the right choice. Which again then is like, now I'm answering the question I originally asked, which is why did he ask me the question? And because he was curious of what I thought, and I told him what I thought, and they moved forward with the best one. Like it is on a per household basis, you do get the best price. Yeah. So then if anything, and I also gave them a discount, so it's with bonus households. Yeah, okay. I think it was just an interesting, I think it just more was an interesting realization to see another example of what it is that my role specifically impacts. Because then there was like the person that closed yesterday. I remember right when they got to the proceed to checkout button, then they were starting to get cold feet. Or starting to doubt their decision. And I knew the best thing that I could do for them there was to not lose the conviction I had throughout the call, and he had before this point. Because it's like, if we're speaking on an emotional level, like it's like, he's confident with the decision. I believe that I'm confident with the program. He believes that confidence in the program and then makes the decision to move forward with the program and is confident with that. But then when push comes to shove, he's like, oh, I don't know, starts to doubt it. So if I don't lose that confidence, then he will go like, okay, no, there's no reason to lose confidence. Let's proceed forward, like what I was thinking earlier. However, if I also start to waver, then he will waver too, and then it's like, we shouldn't move forward. But it only is possible if I actually truly believe the best decision for this person is to move forward, which I do, because he sounded like someone who would have success with the program, would have success whether or not he used our program, which tells me that this program is an accelerator of his success. And if you see this program as an accelerator of your success and not the pathway, the door, like the golden ticket to the top, it's like, yeah, no, like if you think it's the golden ticket to the top, no, it's going to underperform on that front because it doesn't do everything. There's lots of value to it, but it's not a silver bullet kind of thing. Like there still is work that needs to be done on the side of the person who's purchasing it. But so long as that person is willing to do that work and can connect with people, then there's cash on the table to be grabbed. But so that's nice. So then that puts me top of the leaderboard, which is nice. But it more is like it puts me about like 75% of the way to quota, which everything on top of that, that's where the higher commission rate is attained. Which is nice because then I like the incentive structure, because it's like you don't get commissioned as much for the first amount of revenue that you do for the higher amounts, but I feel there's no point where I go like, oh, you should I'm going to stop here. There's no point selling more. It's like, oh no. Like there's always a point to sell more, which is nice. But then it's also good like I'm lining myself up possibly to hit quota again. And then I almost closed another one this evening. The issue was the pricing I had sent them on LinkedIn when I booked the meeting was US pricing. So I thought that it was, because I thought he was in the US, but then he actually was in Canada. And then the Canadian pricing obviously is going to be higher than the numbers that you see on the US. And then the one that they wanted to go with, I think that's what I liked, is that the conversation was a little different, but they didn't go, oh, we want to go with the platinum level. Oh, it doesn't look like that's not going to work. Let's drop down to gold. I'm glad they went going like, okay, no. Like by Friday, we'll be able to move forward with platinum, which tells me they actually want to try us out. And I did a good job at setting expectations with everything, but of confirming their interest in the program. What I think was nice though was specifically is because he said he had spoken with Planswell before, and has been contacted by other Planswell people on LinkedIn, but booked the meeting with me because my first message to him was, I'll be up front. This is a prospecting message, like just cutting straight to it. Which again, I think like the consistent feedback is if you tell the truth to people, people appreciate that. Which is like one of those things that's like obviously. Like, no one's surprised when that sentence is uttered. What a fancy fucking way of saying that phrase. But that's to say, there was a good day. And then it also makes me reflect on the not closing last week, but going like, that's all right. You know what? It's a process. Maybe it was better the fact that it didn't close last week and close this one. It's setting this week up for success, or this month, and it's only the second day, and we're already 75% of the way to hitting quota. Fuck yeah! And we have a verbal commitment for something to close on Friday. We have another guy that had a verbal commitment to close last week, but had to reschedule for this Friday as well. I think that was the other thing. This is a longer video. But in a sales manager meeting, the one-on-one with my sales manager, I was speaking about how, like, I'm starting to recognize no, I think this is going on a bit too long. The short thing I want to say on it is, like, what's the one thing that I'm doing different? It's like, no, what are the 17 to 34 different things I do on a call that if I consistently do on a call, everyone who could close will close? And so long as I do those 17 to 34 different things somewhere in between that, every single time, that will happen. And people have slumps when they stop doing that 17 to 34 thing, because I know there's a question on the script at the one-on-one, the role play we had this morning with 3 of the other account executives, one of those being the junior account executive who now is an account executive with me as well. Is the account executive, not the junior one, who's now an account executive like me, said that he didn't ask this one question, but knows he did ask that question in other months. And then a thing that I was listening to is that type of question. What it's really asking, the words don't matter, but what it really is asking is, what problem are we trying to solve? And do you have a problem that needs to be solved? Because if you don't ask that, then why are we talking? Then you're just gathering information. But if we are trying to solve a problem, okay, then we can have an effective conversation. Then it makes sense to look at the pricing page. Then it makes sense to actually consider whether or not the product or service that the company you're working for or speaking to is worth investing into. It's making a lot of sense. And I'm happy. And we're good. It's a little later than normal, but that's all right. I can't decide if I want to have Subway tonight or go to McDonald's or cook something. I don't want to cook something. I'm lazy. I will make that decision myself, and we will talk to you later.